A lot of the personal development work that I help other people with is really about bringing ideas, concepts, tools, frames into their awareness so that they can become more aware of themselves. I want to sort of give you an analogy or a story of what I'm hoping I'm doing. Let's imagine that you and I, we go to a show in Vegas, and it's one of these hypnotist shows where the hypnotist on stage, he does all these kinds of mind tricks, and he calls people on stage and hypnotizes them and yada, yada, yada. And he calls you up. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the more intelligent you are, the more susceptible you are to hypnotism. And because of this, and likely if you're watching my channel, you're intelligent, but because you're intelligent, of course, when he hypnotizes you, you go deep down under. Now, while you're under there, he tells you, every time he says the word duck, you're going to stand up, you're going to flap your arms, and you're going to quack, 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 every time he says the word duck. But you're not going to remember any of this suggestion that he's made. And in fact, you're not going to believe when you wake up that you were not able to be hypnotized. So he proceeds to wake you up, and you hear him saying, well, some people just can't be hypnotized. You beat me today. And you feel good about yourself. You feel confident. You feel like you are the mental strength you think you are. And you come back down into the audience and you sit down next to me. 5 minutes later, he starts talking about duck hunting. And every time he says the word duck, you have this urge. And in fact, it's irresistible. You stand up, you start to flap your arms, and you quack. And see, when we stress, we fall back to the subconscious programming. We fall back to our childhood kind of instructions that we don't know are there. And coincidentally, so is this hypnotic suggestion that he's placed into your mind. Let's change the story a little bit. Let's say that when you came back down and sat next to me in the audience, I said, hey, he did hypnotize you. Every time he says the word duck, you're going to want to flap and quack. Now you know this instruction's there. So 5 minutes later, when he starts talking about duck hunting, you might still stand up. You might still flap. You actually have an opportunity not to, because now you know this instruction's there. But even if you do stand up, you're not going to stress, because you're going to say, oh, it's that silly instruction. Well, this is what we're trying to do with these Sunday talks that we have, is give you a little bit of information that helps you understand some of the programming that's going on in your mind, that gives you tools and frames and awareness that you have subconscious programming that is driving a lot of your life. And in some of our cases, that subconscious programming is not very good. And so as we stress, we end up doing more things that create more stress, and it can feel overwhelming. In fact, sometimes it can feel right out impossible to get it over. So this is the idea. This is why we do personal development. This is why we try to become self-aware. Not so that we can become some kind of, grand master walking the earth. It's really more about trying to figure out this puzzle we call ourselves. We've all been hypnotized. We had mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, grandparents, teachers, brothers and sisters, who all told us things when we were very young and very susceptible to what they would say that defines the world for us. And remember, if you want to change the world, it starts with changing your mind. We're all stuck in the matrix. It's your job to find your way out. I hope what we share helps. Have a great day.